You are about to witness bodily dismemberment, sub-zero temperatures, and all-out mayhem. Brought to you by the Frontline Network.
Sup to H fans, and welcome to episode 19 of Frontline Fatalities Season 3, brought to you by the Frontline Network, presented by me, FatalSaint, and my co-host IpKaiFung. What's up, IpKai?
What's up, Fatal? How are things today? Thanks for having me on again.
No worries, thanks for coming. Always a pleasure. Today we have a doozy of a game, I think. VindicareX will be playing the Germans, and he will be taking on Symbiosis in the red corner, playing the Soviets. What do you think about this map as a 1 versus 1? We talked about it a little bit off air. A bit big for your taste, or?
It's not a bit big. Personally, I don't like it for 1v1. I find that if you start north, it's very hard to hold the natural fuel and munitions points. Because the cutoff point is on. The cutoff point is basically on a road.
It's like in the center, yeah. This is obviously road to Kharkov we were talking about. I should have showed the viewers that maybe.
Yeah. And as well as that, it's on red cover, and there's a lot of buildings surrounding it as well, so it can be tricky trying to hold it. So
I see.
that's what I find on the north. But on the south, yeah, it's not too bad. You know, you've got the south, the fuel and the munitions are a lot easier to hold down on the south because that cutoff point's I'd say a little bit more protectable. You know, there's not many buildings around it, some nice cover around it as well.
Oh yeah, I see your points. I see your points. It does look a little bit more defendable there, more spacious, more room to maneuver your units around and support each other. This looks like a bit of a cluster in the center on the northern cutoff here. But let's see what happens in this game between VindicareX and Symbiosis. You ready to go, IpKai?
Yeah, ready to go.
We're at the 5-second mark. Let's unpause in 3, 2, 1. Unpause. 6, 7, 8. 9 and 10, and we do have the tier 1 building coming up for Vindicare in his base with his first initial pyros, no additional pyros, but he already shows a doctrine, the one with assault grenadiers. You can also get a mechanized assault group, which is basically like a 250 half track, like the PE half track, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit like the PE half track. It doesn't have a machine gun though.
So it's basically just a transport, troop transport with no weaponry. Is that it?
Yeah, it comes with Panzer Grenadiers inside.
Yeah.
Symbiosis has just picked his commander as well. He's gone straight for Soviet Shock.
Wow, quick commander choices from both players without even seeing anything or knowing anything about how this game will actually evolve. What do you think about the super early commander choices like that? It boxes you in a bit, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I mean, the thing is, if Vindicare gets a Flamer half track, then he could be in big trouble because he doesn't have guards to deal with it.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a big gamble, because the Shock Army has shock troops, the 120mm mortar, the PPSH package for conscripts, the howitzer, and the IL-2 strafing run.
I see. Yeah.
Just to let you know. Yeah.
Yeah, apart from the assault grenadiers, one squad which was just called in for Vindicare as well. He went tier 1 building, built 1 gren, gets 1 assault grenadier. So it's just not straight out assault gren spam, which we have seen in, when they were first implemented. Everybody was playing with that. It's like assault gren spam, just completely skip tier 1 and even go as far as to just quick take to tier 3, skip tier 2, just get assault grens, tons of them, and just throw them at your enemies over and over again.
Yeah, I think he's maybe he's worried that Symbiosis might go for a M3, which does counter the assault grens quite well. So maybe he thinks I'll mix some grens in as well for Panzerfaust to stop him harassing my units.
Yeah, I think this is a better usage, or how they should be intended. Personally, I still don't really like the 0 CP units whatsoever. 1 CP, that's completely fine. Kind of like the the Luftwaffe infantry for the Luftwaffe doctrine with PE in Vico, for example. They were basically something you could get fairly early, but you still needed that 1 CP, and you got 1, maybe 2 squads of it or something like that. But with 0 CPs, you can do as people did when they were first implemented. Just skip building and just go, just calling units over and over again. I find it, I don't know. People most likely would say that it gives you more choices, but I think it's like completely the opposite. It's just like it just caters to cheese.
Yeah, I personally think it's too strong at the moment. Some people have dealt with it, but it was extremely hard for them to do. I mean, I've seen some people, they had to go flamer cars, then they had to they have to get guards as well, because the scout car will come out. So it does box you in as well. I mean, there's no easy answer to them, especially to the guys that just spam them at the start, where they have 3 or 4 assault grins, because your conscripts can't do anything, and by the time you get a Maxim out, then they're tricky to deal with.
Yeah, so in a 2v2 situation, assault grens versus conscript, assault grens every time, 3v3, same thing?
Yeah, 3v3. The only time you might win is 2 conscripts v1 assault grenadier.
Okay.
So when it's heavily in favor, really. Just assault grens, because they have 1.5 armor as well, so that gives them... I'm trying to do the quick maths now, so 80 times 5... Oh, sorry. My mind's gone blank. But yeah, it's around that much. Oh, good mine placement by Symbiosis, though. Takes out 2 assault grens on the right road, yeah.
That is the first munitions spent for Symbiosis. It's gotta be. He didn't go for a flame or anything like that. Instantly went to place mines. Some good old VCO fashion playstyle right there from Symbiosis, bringing it back to Company of Heroes 2 as well.
Yeah, so you can play the Russians a bit like that in that way, because the mines are quite similar.
Yeah,
so,
they detonate for anything, not only vehicles like a teller mine, for example, that never detonates due to infantry. It can detonate due to various things like explosions and stuff like artillery or grenades, but it doesn't get triggered by infantry in the common sense. But the Soviet TM-35 mine, is that it? 35 munitions detonates on everything. Vehicles, infantry, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does quite hefty damage as well to infantry. So they're useful. I mean, if you're not spending ammos as Soviets, you should really start putting down more mines, in good spots. So
first heavy weapon upgrade for Vindicare was a flamethrower on his Pioneer squad, so that kind of means that he has another fighting unit from his Tier 0/Tier 1. But he does have 2 normal grenadiers, 2 assault grenadiers, and that flamer Pio, so that ups him to 5 fighting squads so far. And he just teched, I think, to Tier 2. Yep, it's teched and ready, so he could put it up in his base as soon as he feels the need to do so.
Yeah, Symbiosis is doing actually a really good job at holding on to his cut-off points. Ooh, that rifle nide just kills her.
That was, yeah. Symbi saw or heard it. Maybe he got the audio cue from his conscripts. But it was too late. When he retreated right into the rifle nade and lost an entire conscript squad there. So first unit out from Symbiosis, only 6 minutes into the game, barely 6 minutes into the game. Conscript down. Very, very bad for Symbiosis, I gotta say.
Yeah, he has called in a 120mm mortar now from the doctrine, so he'll set it up quite back. It's got really big range. So he'll just have it there at the back, just trying to plug away at these engagements. It's a good unit. It slows quite slowly. It fires quite slowly. So it's not as devastating as the German mortar, which fires pretty quickly. But it does have a lot more splash damage than a normal mortar as well. So sometimes it can wipe squads with one shell.
Very, very large radius from the indirect fire from that 120mm mortar from the Soviet doctrine. At the same time, Symbiosis is going to bump into a vet one now, Assault Gren squad on this left-hand side, perhaps. Maybe they are just going to scooch right past each other. At the same time, fighting continues in the center. Map 50-50, would you say? Oh, nice mines!
Yeah. No, that was the mortar.
Oh, it was a mortar! Oh.
Yeah, the 120mm.
Of course.
Yeah. No, it is a good unit. I'd say it's about 50-50 now. Symbiosis is doing a good job holding on to his cutoff and his fuel and ammo. Doing pretty well. And the calculations that came back, I just remembered, including the armor on the Assault Grenadiers, it gives them an effective hit health pool of 600 versus conscripts which have 480. So that gives them a lot more health, and they have a lot more DPS as well. So it makes them clearly outclass conscripts at the early game, especially when you can get how early you can get them.
Yeah, 0 CPs, you can get them instantly, you can get it as a first unit out if you want to, you don't even have to build your tier 1 building. I guess with the changes, were they 240 when they initially implemented them?
They were 280.
280, and then it was 240,
200.
250 munitions, and now it's 320. So maybe it's not cost effective enough to go pure assault grenadiers, would you say? For 320, it leaves you hanging a bit in the beginning as well, when you have maybe 1 assault grenadier against 2 conscripts, stuff like that. What do you think about the timings?
The thing is that the Germans start with more manpower than the Soviets do at the start, so they can build tier 1. The thing is that because of that extra manpower, the Germans can actually get 3 assault grens when you've got 3 conscripts out. So
I don't think I like that. Or
no,
I don't like that.
I'm not a big fan of it. Assault grenades on that building?
Wow, look at the building health as well. I took a huge chunk out of that roof and wall of that building, almost took it down. Symbiosis close to losing an entire conscript squad, and I do believe he just mortared himself on retreat as well. Not getting lucky with those random hits. Rifle kills an entire conscript squad, and then he mortars himself during a retreat. Yeah,
the 120 is quite good at killing your own men as well.
Yeah,
that's something I should point out. Yeah, because of the slow rate of fire, because it fires wherever the enemy was at the time, and by the time the shell lands, your men are probably in that spot. So yeah, you've got quite a high chance of being team killed.
So what do you think about assault grenadier? You know, what's your go-to counter if you face off against a German player and he utilizes the assault grenadier doctrine or the commander and he starts throwing them at you? What are you gonna do?
To that extent, what you would try to do is stay in buildings because they haven't got anything to deal with buildings, and try and get a maxim out to try and control them a bit.
Assault grenades, though, I guess, but obviously them being quite munitions heavy.
Yeah, they're 50.
You can't just spam them willy-nilly. You gotta shoot your targets. He can maybe take out 1 or 2 of your squads in a building during some engagements, but after that he's going to be broke. And if you continue using buildings, you know, he's not gonna be able to afford anything else.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the popular strat is to go like 3 assault grenadiers, go to tier 2, and then get Flamer half track out, and that's really strong. Yeah,
doesn't really open up any possibilities of using your munitions for anything apart from that Flammenwerfer, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, they save up for their munitions. They rampage about with the assault grens, so they're very dominating units. I find a bit too dominating for what they are now.
What about the PPSHs on the conscript, which we see Symbiosis utilizing right now on basically every single conscript squad he has? He's got PPSHs now. Do they stand up a little bit better against the assault grenadiers then?
Yeah, it does help them out a bit. It does increase their damage quite a lot. The thing is that I find that personally that conscripts are quite ineffective without them now. So a lot of the time you actually need the upgrade.
And that boxes you in for a commander choice, obviously.
Yeah,
there's only a few that offers you the PPSH upgrade. There was the one that everybody used before, you know, in the initial retail patches, the one with Hit the Dirt.
Yeah.
No one ever uses Hit the Dirt anymore. I basically never see it.
I mean, to be fair, 2 of the commanders that have PPSHs are free, so you've got the choice of 2 if you need to use them. But yeah, it's not a good position to be in because at the moment conscript performance is not the best, especially compared to grenadiers with LMGs. So they are a bit mandatory at times.
Yeah. First shock unit for Symbiosis on the field right now. Didn't go for the T-70, went for the T-34 instantly after getting his conscripts and that 120mm mortar. And right now there's basically not a single counter whatsoever on the field, apart from the very, very soft counter of using the Faust on his grenadiers against his T-34 to slow it down. He did build himself a fuel OP quite a long time ago, and he's been in the possession of the fuel on the left-hand side of the map for the majority of the game. Symbiosis has gone for his cutoff once or twice so far and cut him off for a little while, but he does have enough to put up his tier 4 at 12 and almost a half minute into the game. Tier 4 coming up in VindicareX base with 150 fuel in the bank as well.
So that means he can get a Panther then, I think, when he has enough manpower.
Yeah, he would be able to get himself a Werfer, a Panzerwerfer right now if he wanted to, but there's no real point for him getting one of those. Well, you know, he could nuke the 120mm mortar, but it's not going to be worth it in that mine. But yeah, Panther not too far away. 600 manpower, 500 in the bank, 130 fuel. He's just waiting for the manpower right now. But there's one T-34 on the field, and I'm guessing second one could be joining Symbiosis' army fairly soon.
No, he's only got 40 fuel at the moment.
Only 40
he hasn't
fuel.
got. Yeah.
I thought he's been holding his fuel on the right-hand side for quite a long time. I guess Vindicare has been going for his cutoff as much as Symbiosis has gone for his.
Yeah, he did lose connection with it for a few minutes as well, so that helped. You know, that drops dead. Especially as well, I believe the teching costs are a bit similar actually, fuel-wise. There's not too much difference between going tier 4 and then doing, you know, one of the early Soviet buildings and then the later one. So there's not much fuel difference. So you could, if you wanted a fast tech to tier 4, you could probably get there quite quickly.
Yeah, it's probably a good possibility you could get there very quickly. We do have quite a lot of mines going down for Symbiosis on this left-hand side, so obviously when his Panther hits the field, which it is about to do in just a few seconds, 75% built and just cooking in that tier 4 building, the Hever Panzer Corps. I'm not sure, with one T-34 and now I see also a Sysgun on the field plus mines, you know, he's got to play real well with this Panther. If he squanders it, just throws it in and loses it, you know, it's going to be over. He's not going to be able to afford just to try to evade this T-34, especially not while losing his cutoff as well. So his fuel income has been drained completely down to +7.
Yeah, I mean, the Panther versus the T-34, the Panther will win all the time.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is that he has to try and get the T-34 on its own as well. That's the.
He just nuked himself and the flamethrower blew up on his combat engineer squad, fighting the Pioneer squad, who retains their flamethrower, trying to retreat. Vet 2, conscripts in hot pursuit, but he will not get him. At the same time, Panther against T-34 going into the center. Where is that AT gun? It's just hanging out outside of Symbiosis' base. It did hit that mine, get the damage engine, and that T-34 will be able to reverse back to safety. Center being captured, the VP in the center being captured by Vindicare. He is currently down to 356 VPs compared to Symbiosis 451. So even due to, you know, I'd say the early game was basically in Vindicare's favor with these Assault Grenadiers. Symbi had a bit of a hard time trying to counter them. He's getting some veterancy, but so has Vindicare. I'm not exactly sure, but I think territory-wise, Vindicare was completely on top in the early game. But now, you know, his Panther's engine is bust. He hasn't really had the VP in control. He's only drained 49 VPs of Symbiosis so far. It's not looking too bad at all for Symbiosis, I gotta say. Even though, you know, the engagements in the early game look much, much more in Vindicare's favor compared to Symbiosis' favor.
Yeah, Symbiosis, I mean, he's got 2 T-34s now, and he's got a Zis. And that's quite a good combo against the Panther, you know, to take one out. As well as that, and the Panther's actually, it's okay at anti-infantry, it's not amazing as well. It's more, you know, an anti-vehicle unit, so, you know, he's going to have trouble with, Vindicare's going to have trouble with Symbiosis' infantry now, because he hasn't got a unit that can control them that well, you know, a shock unit that can control them that well.
Now, I guess the window where the Assault Grenadiers were very, very powerful before the conscript got PPSHs is gone. It's closed. That window is closed. His you know, dominance of the infantry battlefield in the early game is no longer, and he really needs to get this Panther repaired up, because the T-34s have multiplied and there's not only 1 but 2 now for Symbiosis, plus that Sysgun. That's more than plenty against the Panther, as long as you obviously don't screw up.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, like, Assault Grenadiers are very strong in the early game, but they don't scale that well because they've only got MP40s, and they're about half the damage of an MP44.
Yeah.
So
it's no Panzer Grenadiers, that's for sure.
No, they're not as DPS heavy as the Panzer Grens. So they do lose some usefulness as the game goes on.
Ooh, T-34 on the right-hand side, going to get Fausted. No! He killed the guy with the Faust. The second guy pulls it up, gets a nice damage engine on that T-34 on the right-hand side of the map. At the same time, on the left-hand side, Flamer Pyos against Conscript with PPSHs. The T-34 is there in support as well, combined with that Sys gun, and the Panther is fighting off some Conscript. Gets 18-aided, I believe. That's gotta be what happened to its engine. He didn't hit another mine, that's for sure. So 18-aid, penetration on the frontal armor perhaps as well. Did you see that engagement against the Panther?
No, I actually saw one on the right, but it probably was an 18-8, judging by the amount of health it lost, which is not
so
a lot.
little. Wow.
Yeah.
Frontal penetration against the Panther with the T-34. What's the odds? Do you know the numbers?
It's 80 divided by 170, I believe, which is about 50%.
Oh, he's hitting every single
or less
time.
than 50. Yeah. So yeah, he's got lucky on those rolls.
Very, very lucky. Conscript squad down to one man. Bet2 needs to retreat. Retreats just in the nick of time. He might be getting a second 18-aid in on this Panther, but the Conscript just standing there. A 120mm mortar raining down as well. Down to one man. There comes that 18-aid. Was he short on munitions? Was that it?
No, I think there was some animation bug. It took a while for the actual thing to wind up and...
That's terrible. That's very, very terrible.
Yeah.
He could have lost that Conscript squad, but it does get out of there with one man, and I can see him running back to base on the minimap. Here comes now second Panther on the field. Now it's getting a little bit more problematic. Ramming the Panther destroys that main gun and engine, and the Sys gun is right there in front of it. Flamers against Assault Grenadiers. Bet2 might be losing this Assault Grenadier squad if it doesn't retreat it soon. Sys gun keeps firing. Assault Grenadiers retreat. Flamer Combat Engineer retreats as well, and a second Combat Engineer squad out now with Sweepers from Symbiosis playing it good old VCO style. 2 Combat Engineers, 1 Flamer, 1 Sweeper, repairing up that T-34 that rammed the Panther and completely just took it out of the action. And Vindicare now finds himself with 2 heavily damaged Panthers reversing back to base.
Yeah, he's not in the greatest of positions now. He's
looks terrible.
He's ceded a bit of map control. The Assault Grenadiers are getting a bit more ineffectual as the Conscripts get vet now. So it's getting tougher for him now to maintain the presence on the map.
I like this. He reversed his second T-34 from the right all the way back to his base because his Combat Engineer with the flamethrower retreated there. So just to get him a little bit closer to the repairing unit a little bit quicker, you know, reverse it back to the base. He doesn't want to risk losing that T-34. He does know now there are not only 1 but 2 Panthers from Vindicare on the field.
Yeah, and Symbiosis has got a third T-34 out now.
Ooh,
so
3 of them.
So in numbers now, they're quite good force multipliers. You know, when you get more and more, they're quite potent vehicles.
What do you think about the third T-34 compared to getting second Sys gun?
It's not bad. I mean, you can control the infantry quite well, especially if you can find an Assault Grenadier squad on zone. They don't have a Panzerfaust, so what you can do is be a bit scummy, just run them over, and that gives you a quick kill.
Oh, he might be going for the crush here on the right-hand side. It is possible. He's basically just outside of the German base right now. He knows both of those Panthers were heavily damaged, so he's just trying to catch the infantry leaving Vindicare's base right now. Not looking too good for Vindicare right here. Very cheeky move with the tier 1 to tier 4. You know, tier 1 to tier 3, I've seen that happen a million times. But directly to tier 4, you ever see that when you play?
No, I mean, it's quite risky because tier 4, although it has the Brumbar, which is really good anti-infantry, it's not the same as the Ostwind, for example, or the P4 at anti-infantry role. It's not consistent. You know, it's one big chunk of anti-infantry. So I think Symbiosis is going for the crush now on these assault Grens.
Might be a crush coming in here. Might be. The Panther is there. It is fully repaired. Back on the field. Vet 1 as well. Can use that Blitzkrieg ability. He almost got 18-aided, I think, from the country squad. He's getting a little bit too close.
Yeah, he threw it, but it was a bounce.
Oh, it was a bounce.
Yeah.
Unlucky. And he actually crushes these conscripts, awarding them Vet 3 for 25% damage received EXP veterancy.
Yeah, so the Vet 3 conscripts, they'll do well against the assault Grens now that are remaining.
Yeah, with PPSHs, I think they're gonna have have their way with them. Oh,
that guy got sniped on the retreat.
There's 1 assault grenadier remaining at least that they can have their way with, but that's basically it.
Yeah, I mean that guy just as he was running got shot in the back of the head by a 76mm tank shell.
Not much left from that poor German guy.
No, no.
He was only a soldier. He never hurt anyone. Or wait, yeah, he hurt quite a lot of Russians, I think.
Yeah, he was probably involved. He wasn't innocent.
I doubt it, I doubt it. They've been killing people from the get-go with 0 CP call-in assault grenadiers. Seriously though, 0 CP call-in units. Leave your comments in down below the video, guys. What do you think about it? I don't like it personally, but you know, if you like it and why, just leave your comments. I'm open to suggestions on you know, starting to like it maybe. Who knows? Maybe someone can convince me.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing as well is that this commander was a paid commander as well, and I think that maybe I think they sold very well, so that just shows you what the player base is like. Maybe they're willing to pay to get an edge, you know, in the multiplayer. But I think that maybe people shouldn't pay for them to maybe tell Relic that, hey, we don't want this type of stuff, you know.
Yeah, that's a possibility, I guess.
Yeah.
We did have an 18-8 thrown on the Panther on the left-hand side. No go, no penetration, just a little bit of damage. And on the right-hand side, Vindicare splitting up his forces now. He's got a Grand, a Pio, and the Vet 1 Panther on the right. He's got the second Panther, the Flamer Pios, the Assault Grenadiers, and an LMG Gren on the left-hand side of the map. And he's looking to be going for some form of a split push, I guess. He needs 2 VPs, that's for sure. He's still triple capped. 213 VPs remaining. 210 now for Vindicare. 441 for Symbiosis. I'm not sure, but he's got to turn this game around, and he's got to do it really quickly soon. Because when you're triple capped, it goes so quickly.
Yeah, I think what Symbiosis needs to do, he needs to get that Zis with his tanks. Because the Zis on its own is not going to do well against the tank, and the T-34s on their own is not going to do well against the Panther on its own either. You probably might lose 2, or you might lose all 3 of them if you're not careful. Yeah, so I think he might need to get the Zis there with his vehicles, or engage the Panther that attacks the Zis with his tanks. You know, try not to take the 2 on separately.
I think the Sis just sniped 2 Pios in one shot, and I don't mean a light artillery barrage, just a normal shot.
Yeah, you know, extraordinarily lucky, because I think the accuracy is like 0.03
it's
or
horrendous.
something.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
It's really bad, so yeah, you know. But that's a lot of the game, you know, a lot of luck factor involved.
RNG God coming into play,
Yeah.
showing its
Indeed.
face and killing all your men.
Yeah, and the Symbiosis now has access to the IL-2 strafing run. He's got enough munitions to use it. So if he needs to, he can just call it in, and that thing's quite effective at killing men.
Apart from the top gunners on the Panthers, there's no anti-infantry on the field, and there's no possibility of an Ostwind, as there's no tier 3 building in the German player Vindicare's base either.
Yeah, and
But
this
those top
is
gunners on the vehicles like P4s and the Panthers, they're pretty good at shooting down planes, I gotta say.
They are. I mean, apparently, I mean, I've been told by the devs, it's like, oh, it's a 1% chance that they shoot down a plane, but every time I've played, it seems to be a lot higher than that. So
Maybe it's a 1% chance every time they shoot a bullet, and to them to hit the plane, and then they shoot 400 in a minute. You know, you hit.
Yeah, I think it needs to be dropped a bit.
Light artillery barrage used on the center cutoff for Symbiosis on a 120mm mortar. He sees the red smokes get way out of dodge before it even starts landing. Doesn't even hit a single Soviet infantryman. Nothing at all was hit.
It's extremely slow. I mean, it's not like the infantry company artillery that, you know, you had in VCOH.
Yeah, you see the red smoke, and then the first shell lands maybe 3 seconds later. And instantly kills anything that's in the explosion radius.
It's a lot slower in this game. When did he hit? No, he didn't hit mine.
So Symbiosis has kept taking, put his tier 4 building up in his base, and he's got an Su-85 now as well, combined with these 3 T-34s and a Sys gun against 2 Panthers. It's gotta be some form of a miraculous battle for these 2 Panthers now to win, I think. You know, they could effectively be rammed, 1 each. He'll still have a Sys, a 3rd T-34 and a Su-85. Obviously not being 100% chance that they will successfully destroy the main gun on a ram, but still, he is outnumbered quite heavily now.
Oh yeah, he's really heavily outnumbered. This is not going to be too good for Vindicare now. He has to work really well with these Panthers.
Might be looking to calling on a Tiger actually. He is floating quite a lot of fuel and manpower as well. He's going to go in against these T-34s. There's one ram, but overheat on the engine. And here's the second ram, but the Panthers are reversing. Oh, the horrors.
Yeah, that was a big mistake. He shouldn't have just tried that because they were so far away. So now he's in big trouble. The Tiger has just rolled onto the field now as well.
Yeah, I see him. I see that unit icon is used. Tiger was called on for Vindicare, upping his chances. No longer being tank outnumbered. There's still an Su-85 and a sysgun up on his 3 vehicles, but his 3 vehicles are way better than these T-34s.
Yeah, and that was a really bad engagement. He shouldn't have tried that ram at that far range.
Oh, he tried again, but he gets taken out before he actually hits the Panther, and right now he finds himself getting pushed off the map. The sysgun has been recrewed, but is still outside of his base. Su-85, Panther caught up with it. He's trying to block him, kills him on the frontal arm with the second Panther, which just hit Vet 2 as well. T-34 explodes in glory. And that's it for the mechanized army of Symbiosis. Not a single vehicle remains.
No, that didn't go well for him at all. I mean, he did, what was it, almost a third on one Panther, a third on another, and nothing on the Tiger.
Yeah.
Very bad engagement. And yeah, he needed to have that AT gun as well involved a bit, and he shouldn't have rammed from the front. He needed to kind of get it from the side or from the rear instead, because the engine overheats so quickly.
Yeah, maybe he felt like we felt that, you know, he had his opponent outnumbered. He just wanted to close the game right there. Just get, you know, incapacitate the 2 Panthers, and then it's game. You know, kill them off with the Su-85, just pursue them, and the sysgun and the remaining T-34, just polish them off and be done with it. Obviously, he didn't see that Tiger coming, and he didn't either expect the 2 ramming attempts both to fail. Even the third one, the last desperate one, failed as well.
Yeah, I think since the ram change, I think a lot of people haven't noticed it, so to speak. You know, they haven't. Sorry, they aren't aware of the changes to it. You know, the changes that were done, so that you know the ram has a chance to fail, and the engine overheats really quickly, and the minimum range on the ram. Yeah, it is really quickly. So now Vindicare's in the base, killing Symbiosis' men.
Look at the VPs though. 29. Symbiosis can taste victory at the same time being base attacked. He can just feel it slipping away as well. This AT gun heroically trying to do something against these 2 vehicles in his base. But Vindicare at the same time out on the map, capping all of the VPs, stopping his defeat at 29 VPs so far. Symbi's not out yet though, but these vehicles are a huge problem, I gotta say. New Su-85 called in for Symbiosis.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a difference this is going to make. He doesn't have anything to slow this Tiger down.
I guess that's the main problem, yeah.
Yeah. So, but he is doing some good damage against his Tiger. The Tiger does have to withdraw.
Yeah, no veterancy either. No received damage buff or anything like that without veterancy. It does still get penetrated quite a lot by the Su-85 and the sysgun. Double 18 nades goes in on this Panther, and it's looking like Vindicare will sacrifice it. He doesn't really have much choice. Destroyed engine now as well. It's a sitting duck in the Soviet base. It did buy him quite a lot of time to regain the 3 VPs, which he desperately needed. That's something. It's still a sacrifice though.
Yeah, it is quite good. I mean, now he's got 1 Panther being repaired. He got the Tiger on low health. That's in the middle VP now.
He's got 2 Grens, 2 Pyos, and an MG. He's lost his second Assault Grenadier as well. I didn't see that one happening though. Maybe it was the Strafe, because Symbiosis did use it before. And he just called in one of those Stugs from his commander choice. And yeah, I guess with only one Su-85 on the field and quite a lot, you know, mainly I think right now these conscripts are a big problem for Vindicare. They're vet 3, they got PPSHs and everything. As long as the Tiger is out of commission due to being so damaged, he's gotta get something. He's gotta get something else to fight these conscripts with.
Yeah, something anti-infantry. The Stug E, I think it's called, is not too bad at anti-infantry. It's okay. It's nothing exceptional.
No, it's
But
fairly
it's
cheap,
cheap.
though. 160 manpower and 55 fuel.
Yeah, it's very cheap. You don't need a call-in building either. And I think it's 3 CPs.
Yeah, I think so.
It's got very low health though. It's about the same as a T70. Not even the same as a normal Stug. But you see there, it just kills one guy. Each shot usually does quite high damage to a model. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
it's not
it
bad.
can soak up a little bit of damage. You know, 18 nades won't be taking it out anytime soon either. He needs something more like that SIS or the Su-85 to take it out properly. But as you say, at the same time, when it does get attacked by something that can really deal damage to it, it dies very fast.
Yeah,
And it's very immobile. No proper turret or anything on it either. So
Yeah.
you're not going to be circle strafing no SIS guns with it. That's for sure.
No, you're not. I mean, it's not like the Stew as well. It doesn't do like massive explosive damage. You know, it's
Kills
just,
a whole rifle squad in one shot.
It's kind of like a lame sniper.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Sort of. You could consider that. It doesn't always kill a guy every shot.
On treads.
Yeah. And yes, Simbi went for shock troops, and I think that's not a good move. I think what he really needed was another AT gun because of he needs it for the Panther and the Tiger.
Another SIS, another Su-85 perhaps. But
Yeah.
I think, you know, obviously, Simbi right now, what he wants to do is drain 29 VPs. That's all he wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, he's got like 300 VPs, well, nearly 300. He should think like, you know, I've got a lot of time. I can wait for more, you know, AT. My infantry situation's not too bad. I mean, I've got 2 Vet 3 conscripts with PPSH. You know, so I'm in a decent situation. It's not too bad.
It's tunnel vision, though.
Yes, that happens. I mean, it's the same, you know, when you have this one sniper in the game and it's annoying the hell out of you.
Tunnel
I just
vision.
I've got to kill this sniper. And, you know, you end up
Throwing everything you got at
throwing
him.
everything, yeah. And his Su-85's in trouble.
Wow, he's really going for it as well. He just swooshed by it, the SIS gun going on the rear armor of this Su-85. He's trying to get away, gets Fausted on the front by a Vet 3 LMG Gren. And I think this SU is going to get destroyed quite quickly here by this Panther. It's just dominating it right now.
Yep, that Su-85 was gone. Oh, if the Panther hits.
He's gonna hit 2 first. Here comes the Tiger as well. It's not fully repaired, down to 50% health, but the SIS gun is going back to his base, trying to save his Su-85, killing this this Vet 2 Panther. There he goes. Abandoned though.
Yeah, I mean, he could try and recrew it, but Vindy should just kill the core.
Main gun destroyed. Unlucky.
And there's a Tiger shooting the Zis in the back.
Oh, nice use of merge from his conscripts on the SIS gun from Symbiosis. There goes the Su-85 carcass. The tank itself, the abandoned tank, is destroyed. Tiger is trying to take out the SIS gun. I think that gun health is gonna be mighty low when it gets destroyed in the next shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all the AT from Symbiosis.
Yeah, he really needed the another AT gun or another Su-85. I mean, that was a...
Wow. 2 conscripts in one shot from a Panther, nonetheless.
Yeah, the Panther, it's like, it's not too bad against against infantry. You know, it's okay. It's a bit like, you know, the PE Panther, so to speak. You know, where it would just like snipe a guy every so often. Yeah.
Oh, this SU couldn't get a clear shot, so he needs to get a little bit closer to this damaged Vet 2 Panther because of that hedge.
Yeah.
Look at that Vet 2 received damage buff though. The Su-85 barely does anything to this Panther.
Yeah, and the Tiger's coming in now. The Tiger's got Blitzkrieg as well if he needs to get away.
He might be getting AT-naded, but I think he still should manage to take out this Su-85. He is bouncing quite a lot on the frontal armor of this Su-85 though. Gets on the rear of it. Fighting at the very map border of Road to Kharkov.
That's it. Simbi lost his shocks as well. Oh, and trying to cap a VP back.
Symbi now down to 142 VPs, and the Su-85 emerges victorious against the Tiger. That's another sacrifice from Vindicare right now, just to tie up all of his enemy's forces in his base. He was obviously trying to go finish off that Su-85 and close the game down for good. Didn't manage though, didn't manage.
No, but he's in a good position now. He's got the triple cap going. He's just called on another Panther. And he's fixing up his Vet 2 Panther as well now, next to the left VP.
Yeah.
So
he's guarding the left VP heavily with his vehicles here, and at the same time he's got an MG moving from the right-hand side of the map to the center side of the map now to guard the VPs as well. He knows he only has 29 VPs remaining, so he can't let him go for too long, or obviously he's gonna lose to VPs. It doesn't matter how many tanks he has on the field and how little infantry Symbiosis has left. If he loses the last remaining 29 VPs, it's over.
yeah, I mean, he's, a good idea trying to just camp 2 VPs at least anyway, so that, he can't get drained any further. So, I mean, he's got a heavy presence on the left, quite a heavy presence on the middle one. If he does lose the right one, he's not going to get ticked down, because you need to have the majority of the big VPs to get the tick started.
79, 76 remaining for Symbiosis. It just goes just as fast for either player that's triple capped against on VPs. It just vanishes in front of your eyes. Takes just a few minutes and you're down a couple of hundred VPs. Symbi was at 400 something when the comeback came from Vindicare with that the push with the 2 Panthers and the Tiger.
Yeah, that was the turning point in the game, really. I mean, Symbiosis, he had it all to lose then, and then that bad engagement just completely threw it. He lost so much in that engagement.
And then it is, for any and every player getting tunnel vision, when it comes to VPs, or the example you brought up with a sniper, for example, especially in VCO, where they really could make people rage when they just kept pegging away on your infantry over and over again. Like a never-ending, manpower drain against you.
Yeah.
It is very, very easy for anybody to get tunnel vision, and then you make bad decisions.
Yep, then the Vet 2 Panther's coming in with his blitz.
It's back again. Back again to finally finish off this Su-85, he thinks.
Now, the Su-85's got no chance. It has no chance of competing with the turning speed of this vehicle with Blitzkrieg on.
Oh, especially now with the damage engine, the turning speed is horrendously slow. Vet 3 Panther now for Vindicare. Out of control Su-85. Takes a shot while out of control against this newly produced Panther for Vindicare. At the same time, 2 Stooks on the right-hand side, handling one of the combat engineer squads, and Symbiosis just throws in the towel at 7 VPs remaining. He would have lost very, very soon anyways. Just a few ticks away from defeat due to VPs. Very nicely played from both players. I liked the early game infantry dominance. Obviously a bit skewed, when it comes to assault grenadiers. Still, 0 VPs, not a fan. But good comeback from Symbiosis, racking up the veterancy on his conscript, PPSHs, just punching through. Get the T-34 shock units, handling the first Panther with nice set of mines on the field, getting that sys gun, always outnumbering his opponent, and then, turnaround attack, and it just went straight down for Symbiosis from there.
Yeah, I mean, that, like I said earlier, that was the turning point, really, where he lost it, and it's unfortunate, that he lost it in such a silly way, really. I think if he didn't try... If he tried not to if he didn't ram them, he might have been in a better situation, I think.
Yeah, he could have given him that 1 VP, held on to the other ones, relocated to the center with all of his forces, his T-34s, his AT gun, etc. Held on to the 2 out of 3 VPs instead of 3 of them. Instead of trying to close the game down, he could have just drained Vindicare out of the VPs that he had remaining.
Yeah, because, I mean, he had the 3 T-34s. They would have had no problem getting rid of infantry capping points.
Yeah.
And then the Panther would come along. And then you had the Su-85 as well to scare the vehicle off. And, you had the Zis gun as well. So, I mean, he should have just tried to just play steady. Sometimes,
Stall.
Yeah. Sometimes, if you want to try and finish someone off, it can end up dearly. You can end up paying dearly for it if it doesn't pay off. So if you can take it steady, you might have won in the end instead.
Yeah. Nicely played from both VindicareX and Symbiosis on Road to Kharkov. Thanks for joining me once again, IpKai. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that juicy subscribe button. Tell your friends, like the video. Drop a comment about 0CP unit call-ins as well in the comment section here on YouTube. Thanks once again, IpKai. See you guys.
No problem. Bye-bye.